Hey guys, it's Mario here, and I'm coming at you with a little bit of a different video topic today. We're gonna discuss how do you develop the passion for lifting weights? How do you fall in love with the process of going to the gym, of strength training, progressively adding weights? How do you make it enjoyable? How do you make that gym your temple where you go and just let go of everything else and just focus on the weights? Focus on improvement, focusing on expressing yourself physically. And it's a very interesting topic, and I find this something that not a lot of people discuss, and a lot of people actually are curious about this, and how do you just make this a part of who you are. And it was inspired by a story that I was just reading and sent in by email to one of my emails that is related to downloading the free workout that I have available on my website. And this story was very interesting. It's from a guy who is in his mid-20s, and I'm kind of paraphrasing all the stuff he sent in. He says he was involved in half a dozen sports, a lot of team sports. He was always an active guy, and he was very athletic. And then he went through high school, he was playing these sports, and then he went on college, and he kind of fell out of that. He got an injury and just fell out of the whole thing, and now he's in his mid-20s and he wants to start lifting weights because that's kind of the only activity that he can do. He has a job, he doesn't have a lot of time, not a lot of friends to play team sports with. And it's very interesting because it kind of reminded me of my own story, but his whole kind of idea says, I just hate this. He said, I hate going to the gym. I hate strength training. It feels so repetitive. And he was sending in those, like, I'm doing this for a couple of weeks. You know, I'm doing your workout. I'm doing this, and I've tried many other workouts, and it just doesn't seem to click for me. And I know a lot of conventional advice out there for this type of situation would be, oh man, just screw the gym, you know, go do some martial arts, go do some other thing, you know, just do something. And it's kind of an interesting thing, why some people are hooked on strength training and other people are just like completely ignoring all those things. And this guy's really smart, by the way. He knows the benefits. He's logically thinking about it. He knows all the good stuff coming from strength training, the longevity benefits, the lean body mass, the physical appearance, like everything, but it still doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna share with you guys in this video is how I personally got hooked. And I will ask you a question as well to share in the comments how you got hooked to strength training. What's kind of the driving force? What got you into this whole journey? So looking back, I want to go back to when I was a little kid, and I was always kind of in sports as well. You know, I mean, the only sport technically that I was playing was soccer here with all my friends, and we were playing every single day, and it's kind of a sport. And I understand when you're switching from a team sport to gym, it can be a little bit tough because in team sports you always have guys who are pushing you and they're kind of pushing themselves, so you're looking at, well, I'm not gonna slack because my buddies are pushing themselves, so I'm gonna step up. You know, it's kind of a challenge, as well as team sports are kind of, you have that sense of a tribe, you have that sense of like, okay, we're gonna crush it together, and it really is very motivating to play a team sport. But in the gym, it's kind of like you versus you. It's kind of like, okay, I don't have that positive feedback loop with my friends. I don't have people telling me I need to push myself. I mean, if you're lucky, if you have a gym buddy, that's amazing. I personally don't. I mean, I'm traveling so much, so I really spend most of the time in the gym by myself, and I just make sure that I can find that intrinsic motivation that will get me to where I need to be and kind of fall in love with the process and look at the gym as kind of my temple where I can relax and just get away from a lot of these things that are happening in life. So looking back in my journey, and I was always kind of hooked on improvement. I was always looking at progress. You know, that's kind of what drove me to get into the gym in the first place. And even as a little kid, you know, there was like this Yugoslav war here when I was a little kid, when I was growing up, and I would just take these radio machines. I was always looking to dismantle them and see what's inside and then try to improve that. And I was also always looking to make stuff better. And I felt like if you can see the potential in something and just make it better, express that potential, you're doing something right. You're just doing something that feels right. And what we're doing in the gym essentially is just one part of our life in general. And now, I mean, I can see that from this perspective as that this is just one part of being the ultimate human being the best human being that you can be, with the gifts that you've been given, your physique, your smarts, your attitude, everything that you have right now, everything that you've been given has a certain potential, and that can be expressed in any area of your life. And I mean, going back to the childhood, I was like looking into dismantle stuff, is to improve stuff as much as I could, and I was watching these cartoons, and I was like really interesting cartoon, I think called something Tsubasa, something like that. It was from Japan. I was actually watching it here, and I can still remember. I mean, every time they would win, every time they would kind of discover this new shot or this new technique, I was so inspired by that I would just go outside and hit the ball for like 6 hours straight. And that's kind of what led me. I was also hooked on Dragon Ball, and probably where I got that sense of developing the physique and being strong and powerful. That's kind of what inspired me as well. And it was always about progression, and this manifested itself, at least in my life, in many different directions. And I'm sure that as guys, we're very competitive. We love to look, and I'm sure there's very competitive girls out there as well. I can just speak for myself that I love competition. I love improvement, and I was always hooked. As I said, it manifested itself in video games. I was always playing video games that had a purpose. You know, there's a purpose, there's a journey, there's an improvement, there's a progression. I can measure it, and I'm gonna crush it. And that's what really hooked me on the gym as well. And when I first started out, I mean, most guys don't know this. I mean, typical dude with semi-decent genetics, he's gonna go to the gym, he's gonna do 135 on the bench for like 6, 7 reps, 10 reps, even someone with a little bit better genetics, you know, someone who's involved in sport, he's gonna start with 185, you know, he's gonna start with that and do 5, 6 reps on his second workout. When I started out with an empty bar for 5 reps. And those reps, I mean, I could barely lift, right? It's ridiculous. I don't think most people know this. And not to mention that it took me about a year to do one single pull-up. One single proper pull-up took me a year just to get just to get the bar somewhere below my chin. I remember I was like touching it for the first time with my chin. I wish I had that on video, and I was like smiling as I was going up with my chin. It was crazy, right? I was so hooked on that. And I tried a variety of different methods to get to that pull-up for a whole year. I was doing negatives, you know, I would jump up and just hold myself. I would put like a bench below my legs because I didn't have a gym buddy to spot me. So I would just do those half reps. I would do negative reps, as I said. I would do inverted rows. I would do a variety of methods just to get to that one single rep. And I felt the improvement. I was looking for the improvement. I felt like I was getting better. I felt like, okay, I could do half a more negative rep or one extra rep, and it just felt so good. And then when I got the rep, then I build on that. And I mean, now it's just a joke, you know, pull up. Let's say I like my whole body weight and do one, right? And similarly with the bench press, I mean, it took me more than a year to get to 185, you know, for a proper 5 reps. And I was still doing with poor form and everything. And that doesn't mean that the journey wasn't enjoyable for me. I found that the progress, that adding that half a kilo, that one extra rep, that half a rep, that better form that workout, or just feeling less tired from that lift, I felt that was a progression. I knew that I was moving forward. I felt like I was a video character. I felt like I was leveling up myself. And it was always interesting to see guys who are going to the gym, and I was always looking at guys who were there as well with me, and they were really talented and inspired, and a lot of them were actually doing it for the result, and a lot of them gave up. And I've noticed this, and they just didn't have that strong vision for themselves. They didn't see this as a journey of improving themselves overall as a human being, and that's kind of the journey that doesn't have an end. For them, it was more like, okay, this is the end goal, and this is the amount of reps approximately that I need to do. This is the amount of training sessions and everything that I need to put in. And these guys would often reach that goal, but they wouldn't be inspired to stay in the gym. While on the other hand, for me, I mean, maybe it was because it took so long to get to look like I lift, which was approximately about 4 years of training that I actually looked like I lift because of poor genetics. And despite the fact that I was putting in a ton of work, I mean, took a lot of learning as well. I mean, I came from that heavy bro science background where there was literally, I had no idea what to do in the gym. I was just following random workouts. And that was, I mean, with the random workouts, that was the best I could do. And now, I mean, with the scientific mind and with analyzing all the research, I mean, I could optimize a training program and get much better results. And it was crazy. And I think I probably could cut that learning curve in half at least now if I had this brains and back then. But the point is that I still didn't care about the result as much as I just cared about getting into myself into that journey, into that mindset. I just moving forward, just move forward. It doesn't matter how long it's gonna take me, it matters that I'm gonna get there. That was the mindset. And I always felt like I was kind of the Vegeta of training. You know, if you guys watch Dragon Ball, I always felt like I was the Vegeta. I was the guy who was putting in like ton of effort and barely getting any result, while there was like a Goku there who was just going to the gym, and he was still training, but he was just more blessed with these with the good genetics, and he was just pushing himself a little bit and was getting massive results. And that didn't stop me. That was just, I guess, something I felt, but it didn't stop me because I just love to do it. And I was thinking I'm gonna go at it despite the fact that I hadn't gotten the results as fast. I was kind of like doing it in spite. It almost like it's a little bit of an ego drive in the beginning. It was like, I'm gonna crush this. I'm gonna be the more persistent one. All of you will give up, you know, I'm gonna be there. And that's kind of the beginning, but now it's more like, okay, the gym is my temple. I'm going there for just enjoyment. It's kind of almost like a meditation to push myself and express myself physically, just become the best human being I can in that area of my life, which is just one area of my life where there's, of course, there's relationships, there's business skills, there's higher purpose, living in the moment, being able to detach yourself and really see yourself as one with the universe and all that cool higher purpose stuff. And it's really important to kind of go through these journeys and go through all these pains to realize that. And now going back to the story, it was like a little bit of a tangent here. How do you fall in love with the process is really when you stop caring about the result, then you start looking for what's actually happening in the process. And there's something when we're talking about having a really strong vision as well. And I think that this is a little bit related to this, is that a lot of guys that didn't have the strong vision, that had the knowledge and that had the work ethic, still gave up. The guys that didn't have that vision of being that ultimate human being that Superman, right? Pushing yourself hard, you know, being superhuman, you know, elevating yourself and really getting that DNA, you know, to elevate itself, to express itself fully, to progress, to improve. It has to, you know, you put that evolutionary pressure on it, it has to grow. And that's what a lot of guys were missing. They were missing that vision aspect, and they had the knowledge and they were thinking through it logically, you know, and they had the time, they had the goal setting skills, and they had everything, but without that vision, they gave up. And I think it's kind of a combination of both. I really don't think that you can just go by the vision and just by law of attraction, it's going to manifest itself. I mean, good luck with that. You know, good luck manifesting 350 squat in your living room if you're not actually there putting in the reps. But at the same time, if you are there putting in the reps without the vision, it almost feels like you're just doing it for the sake of the result without having that sense of purpose of why this is actually what's the big picture of this? Why the hell am I doing this to begin with? What's the purpose of this? And that's kind of one thing that is missing. I think a lot of people are just missing that aspect of the why. Of why the hell am I doing this? Am I doing this just to get abs, to get girls, or to get, I mean, I'm the kind of person that loves to have different layers of motivation. I call this layering your motives. So basically you would layer the lower consciousness stuff being girls, money, whatever the hell you think you're gonna get more of when you get that six pack, but then layer on top of that your other things like becoming a higher self, you know, becoming the best version of yourself. Layer on top of that inspiring other people, right? Layer that motivation, layer different aspects of yourself. Because a lot of us, we have different personalities, we have different ways to express ourselves as well. And gym and any other journey of self-improvement really requires you to hit it from all different angles and to find different types of motivations. And this is a whole different topic that I'm definitely going to share with you guys as well in the future videos. But I mean, a little bit of a side tangent here. I think progress is addictive. I think progress is what got me hooked. I truly believe that. I think the progress, the one extra rep, the half rep, the better technique, the less fatigue, cutting the rest period, whatever progression I saw in that next workout, I was hooked on that. I truly believe that that's what kept me going. I felt like I was a little anime character and I was going forward one little step, and that's kind of what kept me going. That's what got me hooked. And yeah, share it with me in the comments below as well. What got you hooked? What's your inspiration? Who is and what is your driving force? What got you hooked with the gym? Do you feel like you're hooked? Or do you feel like you're still just going through the motion? You feel like it's not a part of you? Share in the comments below. I mean, this is a community where it is open for whatever opinion you have. Simply share it. Don't hesitate. Don't be inhibited here. This is just a community where we're going to share. People will resonate with you. Everybody is in different situations, and there's plenty of people who will be able to resonate with you. So hope you enjoyed. As I said before in the previous video as well, hit that subscribe button below, and then hit that bell button as well if you already subscribed, and make sure to tick that notifications kind of checkbox there to get notified for future videos, so we can get into more of these cool ideas on personal development, the gym, and how this mental and physical aspect go together. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you are having an amazing day wherever you are. Aside from that, hit that like button as well, share, and if you think that this video is going to inspire other people as well. And I will also see you guys in the next video. Peace.